again, aren't I? I keep forgetting to turn the screen on that camera. I'm getting used to it, I'm getting into a rhythm, I think. Like the new chair, what do you think? I think that'll suit my old bones, age 48, what do you reckon? Oh, feel like J.R. in already. Right then, hello all you hardcore boxing fans out there, how are you doing? It's Big Porky from Porky's Corner. The voice of hardcore boxing fans. Watch us on YouTube, no bull, just Porky. And don't forget to subscribe. Keep on trucking. How cringe is that? Right, we've got the chair, we've got the keyboard. Chris Smedley, thank you for the tie wraps, they'll look good when big production set's done next door, waiting on decorators, so we're moving forward. So all you said I'm going to fall flat on my face, woo, for a big shock. We're going to have a go, aren't we? If we fail, we fail, but you know what you've got to do in life? You've got to have a go, haven't you? Because if you don't have a go, you're never going to know, are you? Alright? Now, today's video, I'm going to call it, if NJ don't overrule me, Boxing Legends Who Never Won a World Title. 20. I'm going to pick 20 legends. Right? I've just been jotting a few names down here. 20 guys who I think, if they were fighting today, they've become legends in the sport. Some of them have had films about them, but 20 who are fighting these days, right? Let me get my old bones laid down on this. What do you reckon? I don't know if that suits me, that. Now I've come up with this list. See what you think. See what you think. 20 past 12 on a Thursday, so we'll have a quick video with this. I've only fetched one batcher, so I'm not going to do a long video today. Right, let's have a look. Dave Boy Green. Dave Boy Green, what do you think to him? Fought Sugar Ray Leonard, didn't he? Now, if he were fighting today, with all these belts about, he'd definitely be a world champion. So Dave Boy Green, he's one. Second one, Dennis Hobson's nickname, Ron Lyle. Now, he had a war with Foreman, didn't he? Did he drop him twice? Once or twice, I think one of them were heavy as well. Didn't Bell save him? Now, if he can do that to George Foreman, who was a legend, multi-millionaire as well, by the way, what would Ron Lyle be like today? Eh? Imagine Ron Lyle fighting today. He'd be a world champion, wouldn't he, Ron Lyle? No messing about. Oh, I don't want to be fiddling about, I might get accused of being on drugs. Right. I'll have my pen back and fiddle about. I'm only playing with you. So we'll cross them off. Dave Boy Green, we've done that one. Ron Lyle, that's 2. See if we can come up with 20. I've got about 18 on it. I need to think of 2 more while I'm talking to you. Errol Bomber Graham. He had a few title shots, didn't he? My pal Glyn Rhodes trained him for one of them. He'd be a world champion today, wouldn't he, Errol? Chris Eubank Jr. and Nigel Benn didn't want to fight him, did they, back in the day? You'd have to say Errol Bomber Graham, he'd be a world champion if he were here today. Johnny Nelson used to carry his bags. And look how the lives have turned out. Errol's, you know, he's in a bad way, isn't he? Ended up in a bedsit with note. Johnny Nelson, big farmhouse, ended up a world champion, but he couldn't carry his jockstrap, could he, Johnny? But you look at all these 20 years, and then you look at the guys today who are world champions. They're like imposters, aren't they? But Errol Bomber Graham, number 3. Henry Wharton. You'd have Henry Wharton down as a world champion today, wouldn't you? A British Commonwealth European champion, just like Errol Bomber Graham. He didn't get over the line in world title fights because he was in a tough era, wasn't he? Robin Reed fought him. Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank. he was in a very, very tough era. Henry Wharton, he'd definitely be a world champion today. Southpaw as well. Could you imagine him against Rocky Fielding? Rocky Fielding, millionaire now, isn't he? Former world champion. Oh my God. Could you imagine Rocky Fielding against Henry Wharton? Jesus. Eh? It'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it? For Rocky. So, Henry Wharton, you'd have him at number 4. Ryan Rhodes. God. Could you imagine Ryan Rhodes against Beefy Smith, former WBO world champion? Ryan Rhodes against Beefy Smith. It'd be a slaughter, wouldn't it? Ryan, British, were he British Commonwealth European? Or were he British and European? I can't remember. I know he fought for world title, he fought Canelo. Could you imagine Ryan Rhodes at £154 against Beefy Smith? Why they had Ryan Rhodes fighting that Grant in his 16, 17 fight? Who were a massive super middle against a small middle? I don't know, bad decisions and bad matchmaking and get fighters being rushed. Ryan Rhodes definitely would be a world champion today. He'd be king at 154s, money or up there. Bruce Woodcock from my village in Edlington where I grew up. British Commonwealth European champion. He beat a guy, Lee Savold, and but he when he fought him again, fought world title, there were no belt on line, but he had a win over Savold. He'd be a world champion today, but he was 13 stone 8. So if Bruce Woodcock were to fight today, he would be a cruiserweight. So 13 stone 8. Today it's 14 stone 4. He just put £6 on, wouldn't he? Or he'd boil down to light heavyweight, you know, and take £15 off. But he'd definitely be a world champion today, Bruce Woodcock. Very, very tough man. Tyson Fury once told me a story, right? I think I've told this story before, I'm going to tell it again. Bruce Woodcock, I think Tyson Paris's dad told him this story. They broke down on North Bridge near where Doncaster Prison is, or Donkeytraz. They broke down on North Bridge and people were going over bridge on a Saturday night into town, or you know, going over to the market. And they were dressed as women. They were Bruce Woodcock and all his pals. And they broke down in an old Ford. And they had high heels on and that, and they had to push it. And everybody were laughing. Now that's a true story. Tyson Fury told me that story. If anyone you want to tweet Tyson, tweet you and ask him if it's true. But if it's true, Bruce Woodcock broke down on North Bridge in Doncaster, and him and his mates were all dressed up as women. That's a famous story, but Tyson will know that because he's an historian, he knows everything about boxing. You only got to sit down with Tyson and ask him. Well, that's a true story. But yeah, Bruce Woodcock, he'd definitely be a world champion now. Gary Mason, he'd be a world champion if he fought today. 37-1, he only got beat by Lennox Lewis. Came back, had 2 more fights, 2 more wins, and it just sort of didn't happen for him. You get wrong advice off the wrong people, you make a few wrong turnings, and that's just how it can go for you in the boxing industry. You could have a financial problem. I've heard Gary Mason invested in jewellery shops like Errol Bomber Graham, and it didn't work out, and there were all sorts of problems in the background. Boxers are not businessmen, are they? Safest thing to put your money in is property. But boxers are not businessmen. They pick the wrong women. They attract the nice fit women, obviously, but they're usually the wrong ones, aren't they? They attract the wrong women. They have the wrong sort of hangers on in the group. They make wrong turnings, and that's what happens. So that's just what happens. But Gary Mason, he definitely would have been a world champion today, without a shadow of a doubt. Gary Mason. Joe Bugner, he beat British, Commonwealth and European. I think he did. He'd definitely be a world champion today. I know he didn't win a world title, but did he go distance with Ali twice? Going distance with Muhammad Ali twice. I'm sure a good promoter could have got Joe Bugner to world title nowadays. So, you know, there's fighters today who are getting world titles, and I'm like that. How are they doing that? So your promoter, isn't it? But Gary Mason, definitely very skillful. He used to school Frank Bruno in sparring, that's why Frank could never fight him. So yeah, Joe Bugner, Gary Mason, them sort of guys, they'd definitely be world champions today. Gary Mason especially, but Joe Bugner would be a world champion today. Ernie Shavers is renowned for being the hardest puncher in boxing history. Wilder's up there with Ernie Shavers. But Ernie Shavers fought a lot tougher opposition. Massive, 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 massive puncher. I can't emphasize how hard this guy punched. You know, I've spoke to old guys who've known people who've sparred him, and massive, massive puncher. Ernie Shavers, massive. So he'd definitely be up there, Ernie Shavers. Nobody can say anything about that, he would be. Tony Simpson fought Marvin Hagler. Could you imagine Tony Simpson today? He beat Alan Minter, didn't he, Tony Simpson? And he was a world champion, Olympic bronze. So matched correctly in today's era, with all these belts about, you'd have to say that Tony Simpson, he would have been a world champion, wouldn't he? Without a shadow of a doubt, man. Tony Simpson. Robin Reid agrees with me with that. I spoke to Robin today. Robin Reid, before I go off track here, he's in India at the moment until 17th, promoting his Robin Reid healthcare tablets. And he said they treat him like royalty over there. So he's really enjoying it. And but Robin won a world champion, Olympic bronze, so I can't put Robin on this, but Robin agrees with me about Tony Simpson. Kirtland Lang. Kirtland Lang on his night could turn anybody on their head. Anybody. Ask Steve Bunce. Go and watch that video about Kirtland Lang on YouTube. Please go watch it. It got a lot of hits, and it spawned a book that somebody did for Kirtland, and I ended up buying the book. But Kirtland Lang, he beat Roberto Duran in America. Kirtland Lang, when Duran were, you know, in his pomp, he beat him. You can beat Roberto Duran, you're world class. But it was the discipline that I think Kirtland had a problem with. Plus he liked to spliff, and he liked to play poker and gamble, didn't he? But he definitely loved a spliff. But that's weed, or paff, for all you cockneys who are watching. But Kirtland Lang definitely would be a world champion. So how many is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 11. 12, is it? 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Robert McCracken, British champion. He fought Keith Holmes. Robert should have never been fighting at 160. He needed a nutritionist. He should have been fighting at 154. He needed a nutritionist on board. But he fought at 160. I don't think he had any pop in his punches. He fought Keith Holmes. He got beat, didn't he? But he's a legendary name. He had a massive following. He had all that Birmingham group following him, Zulu Warriors. Proper, like he had a Ricky Hatton following back in the day, or nearly as big. But Robert McCracken, I'm not saying that because I'm a Froch fan. I just think matched correctly, Robert, he's a legend in the sport, you know, Robert McCracken. Matched correctly, Robert McCracken would be a world champion today with all these belts about, and with promoters that, you know, we're a good promoter. But the title of the video is Boxing Legends. So, and he's a legend in sport. He'll go to Hall of Fame, train Joshua, and he to all them belts, and train Froch, and he'll be in Hall of Fame one day. So Mickey Ward, I know he won WBU belt, but it's not one of the big four, is it? So Mickey Ward, he's a legend, isn't he? He beat Gatti, didn't he? There were no belts on line, but Gatti was a world champion. So you'd have to say Mickey Ward. People can say, oh, he was a journeyman, this and that. He had a win over Gatti, didn't he? So he's a bit better than a journeyman, isn't he? So you could say gatekeeper, couldn't you? But somebody as good as Mickey Ward fighting today, like I said, with all these belts and all these opportunities, He'd be a world champion today. Mickey Ward, sorry. Next one, Jamie Moore. British, Commonwealth and European champion, what Jamie Moore? I know Ryan Rhodes beat him, but he never got his chance to fight for a world title. But I firmly believe that Jamie Moore in this era, at 154, like Ryan Rhodes, would have been a world champion. I mean, Ryan Rhodes beat a world champion, didn't he? In Silky Jones. And Jamie Moore, he beat Macklin, didn't he? And Macklin got robbed against Sturm. I know it's ifs and buts, but he would have had a victory over a world champion if Macklin had got his win against Sturm. But Jamie Moore would be a world champion today at 154, without a shadow of a doubt. Martin Murray, he was robbed against Martinez in Argentina. Martin Murray should definitely be a world champion, and I think he'll go down as a legend in the sport. He'll go down as one of them guys who should have had a world title, but for politics and maybe not having home advantage and blah de blah. So yeah, Martin Murray definitely. And another one from that era, Matthew Macklin. I think he was unlucky when he fought Sturm, wasn't he? He should have been a world champion. He went British, Commonwealth and European, or he was European level, wasn't he? And stroke world level. Matthew Macklin, definitely robbed in the Sturm fight, definitely. Now there's one here that you might say no about, Chuck Webner. Why not? Why not? They made a Rocky film based on him, didn't they? He got paid out in court, didn't he, or an out of court settlement. They made a film based on him, just like they did Mickey Ward. He went 15 rounds with Muhammad Ali. He got stopped in 15th round, and didn't he drop Ali? So as far as I'm concerned, Chuck Webner, in today's market, maybe he could have won a title, maybe a vacant one. He's a legend, isn't he? You go to 15 rounds with Ali, 15 rounds. George Foreman only went 8 with him. That's just my opinion, my channel. So I get some stick for the Chuck Webner one, I know that. Hey, listen, Ali fought Chuck Webner 4 months and 3 weeks after he fought Foreman. He fought Chuck Webner. So maybe they wanted to give him an easy one, but it wasn't easy, was it? I think Ali had a lot took out of him after that Foreman fight, in my opinion. Jimmy McDonnell, or Jimmy Mack as we call him in boxing industry. Jimmy Mack. Yeah, you'd have to say Jimmy Mack, wouldn't you? Definitely. You'd have to say Jimmy Mack. I mean, you get beat against Azuma Nelson, but when he winning or something, he's doing well in fight. Jimmy McDonnell. You'd have to say, I can't remember the result of that, whether it was stoppage or points, but Jimmy McDonnell, you'd have to say, if he were fighting now, Jimmy Mack, he'd be a world champion. Of course, he beat Barry McGuigan, didn't he? He wasn't the best Barry McGuigan. He beat Barry McGuigan in Barry's last fight, Jimmy McDonnell or Jimmy Mack, and Barry was a world champion, wasn't he? He was pound for pound. Jimmy Mack beat him, didn't he? I know he got him at right time. Mickey Duff said, you want to go around, we don't want to fight Barry McGuigan because he's knocking everybody out, we're going to go around and meet him at the end, and that's what they did. And that's how Mickey Duff played it, didn't he? But yeah, Jimmy Mack, he'd be a world champion if he were here today, fighting today, Jimmy Mack. Kevin Mitchell, we all know what happened with Kevin Mitchell, don't we? Well, there was a mix-up with a fight or something with his corner, or the referee made a bad decision, I think, didn't he, in that fight over here. I forgot the guy's name, it was at Wembley, wasn't it? I think. Kevin Mitchell, he should be a world champion, and you know, if he were fighting now, I know it was a couple of years ago that, but if he were fighting now, Kevin Mitchell, he should have been a world champion, definitely. How many is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 19. I can't think at last one. 19, one more. Let me try and think. 19. What do we think? Jimmy Ellis, was Jimmy Ellis a world champion? Yeah, he was, wasn't he? WBA, wasn't he? Who was that guy who fought now for vacant belt? I think Ali fought him. Jerry Quarry. He went to a mandatory decision, didn't he? Jerry Quarry. He'd be a cruiserweight if he fought now. Jerry Quarry against Jimmy Ellis. and he lost against Jimmy Ellis. If he were around today, Jerry Quarry, he'd be a cruiserweight champion at world without a shadow of a doubt. So anyway, my name's Big Porky, you know who I am. Voice of hardcore boxing. Don't forget to subscribe, like or dislike, and leave a comment. Try and leave a nice one, but if it ain't a nice one, it don't really bother me, does it? Because it's not going to affect me, is it? But I hope you're enjoying the videos. I do the videos because it keeps me sane in this crazy world, I think, and something I like doing. And if you can do something that you like doing, I think that's good, innit? It's not like going to work, is it? If you do something as a hobby, it's good, innit? I think so. Keep supporting the channel. Most of all, keep supporting boxing and keep them comments coming. Alright? And we're going to take it to the next level, this channel, and we're getting in there. And I'm looking forward to it. I'll show you, I'll take the camera in here and I'll show you. We've got enough time, yeah, plenty of time. Whoops. Right, let's go in here. There's some stuff to move in here. It's not mine. I know I've not been kicked out. 20 to 1, that clock stopped, I think. Well, this is going to be where we're going to put the boxing stuff, punch bag and weights and stuff like that, and boxing stuff on wall. And he's decorating, and this stuff needs to be moved out of here. But this is going to be where we're going to do all filming in here. Probably get a weight bench down there, and or a punch bag down there, weight bench here, I think. Preacher curls here, and my desk there. Might get it all in here. If not, we could just have punch bag in there, couldn't we? And just have some weights in here and other stuff. But it's a bit bigger in here and more room, isn't there? So took over, haven't I? What we got here? Let's have a look. Some gloves here. These must be for hard workers. I not to grab them, didn't I? Really, but I blow my chances here when I. 2 years ago I've emptied this place. but yeah, so this is going to be office. Needs a fluorescent light by the looks of it. There's not one in there. But all being well, won't be long. So right then, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this video sent now. Cheers to Chris Smedley for these wraps and that, Chris. They'll be alright then. We put a punch bag in here, Chris, to have a workout in here, couldn't we really? Do a bit of filming in here, get Dennis on punch bag, see how good he is. But I'm happy with my poster. I'm even more happy with my chair. Look at that, it's a Boster, isn't it? Now look what we got here. Howard Foster, my best mate that night. Look at Frotch there, Tyson Fury there. Look at Tyson when he was 20 there. Tyson, Barker, Frotch, John Murray, Frotch there against Jermaine Taylor with towel coming in. Look at Groves there. Get up there, George, get up there. Bad blood that fight, wasn't it? That was afterwards, wasn't it? But, the Cobra. What a fight that was. Right then, old Robin Reed there. He says he loves it in India. Right then, shout out to K Official. Oh, before we end this video, I just want to say a big thank you to Justin at the Tea Leaf Company. I don't need no coffee off you, Justin. I've just found a bag in cupboard downstairs in canteen, so I don't need none now, mate. But I just want to thank K Official because they've been doing editing for me for about 9 months now, and they never complained once. That's K Official. The clothing line's exceptional. Look at embroidery on that. I'm not on Twitter no more, but I want to thank K Official for doing editing for me. They've been brilliant. They never complained once, and whenever I needed anything putting out, Paul or Emma, or Ems as she's known, they put the stuff out. Never complained once, and thank you very much. And I've got that contract in post off you, and I'm going to we're going to deal with it on Monday and have a look. Got somebody coming to have a look at it, so we have to keep everything all professional, don't we? But I don't think there'll be a problem. But thank you very much for doing the editing and that, and we'll have a game of snooker later, get me iron, because I'm going to play Nicola soon at her house. She's got a table. Thank you very much for doing the editing and that. You've been fantastic, and I don't forget things like that. You've been really helpful for me, and anybody who helps me, they're a friend of mine, so thank you very much. You've been brilliant. Just same as Rico, who helped me start the channel. He set it all up and that. He's my close pal, Rico, and he's always been there for me, so thanks very much to K Official. Thanks to Justin at the Tea Leaf Company as well. So just had a cup of that, so lovely. It's a bit weird though, isn't it, having to put coffee in a filter bag. But thank you very much, Justin, for sending that stuff. Dear stuff, I've just had a look online. So, but thanks very much. But thanks to K Official. If you need any clothes, any companies out there, you want any clothing for your companies or anything done, get in touch with K Official. They're on internet. Very simple, just get in touch with them, or at kofficial.com I think it is, or at kofficial on Twitter. But get in touch with them, they've been brilliant with me, brilliant. They do all Carlton Leach's clothes, you know, Rise of the Foot Soldier, really good. So I want to thank them. Alright, peace out, keep following boxing, keep following me, keep on trucking. Oh! And don't forget to give Hatman and Sporting Icons my best, because we all know that they're backed by Eddie, and give them Porky's best. Alright, peace out. Have a good weekend, everybody. Even it's Friday tomorrow, innit? Have a good weekend. Alright, ta-ta. I'll be the last to know.